One of the hardest things that a lot of us chosen ones have to deal with is the narcissism of people. You know, the people who are determined and they make it a goal to bring us down. And it's like, the worst thing is when it's your family. I understand there's people outside of our family that do this, but the worst thing is when it's your family. And the reason why I'm even talking about this is because God has been showing me some things for the last couple of days, and I've been in my feelings about it because, it's just annoying that I'm speaking, because I go through this too, that I have to go through this, but I know others go through this, and this is why I speak up when it comes to certain things, because people have to be able to relate with you. You get what I'm saying? This is why it's so important for a lot of chosen ones to not just sit back and just keep your mouth closed unless God tells you to. You can say things without saying too much or without doing too much, or you can do things in an appropriate way without tearing someone else down or putting someone else, in a horrible position. There's a way to communicate things, right? Because there's people out there who go through this stuff and they sit there and they go their whole life thinking they've done something wrong to deserve what they're going through, and their whole life being gaslit, and they go their whole life looking like they were the problem the whole time, when it wasn't them the whole time. It was the person that has been planting a seed in the ears of people throughout your family. There's always this one villain that is planting seeds in the uncle's ear, the auntie's ear, the friend of the family's ear, the cousin's ears about you. And you'll know, because this has been happening since a young age. It's not something that just happened when you're an adult. When you're an adult, you don't really just have random encounters with a narcissist as an adult, unless it's like someone outside your family, a stranger you meet, or someone that you get what I'm saying. But most of the times it starts from when you're a child, and people plant this perception of you to make people think. It's like to manipulate the thoughts of others when it comes to your characteristics and who you are as a person, your personality. So then when you get older and you finally have the strength to stick up for yourself, and you finally are like, okay, I'm old enough to talk, I'm confident enough to talk, and I can share my story now, people don't believe you. Then people don't believe you, 1 second, I'm gonna turn on this car so my phone don't die. Okay, yeah, and it's just I just want to say that if anyone is going through this, be still. Just be still. It's funny how my phone just random. Okay, just be still and just let God handle it. Just let God handle it, because God is strategic. God knows how to reveal revelations to people without you having to say too much. You don't have to say too much. It's not that God wants you to be quiet and not speak up for yourself at all, but there's a time and place to do things, and you just can't say too much. God knows when it's the right time for you to speak your testimony. But the hardest thing is fighting the witchcraft. It's hard when you're fighting witchcraft and it's someone in your family doing it. I'm gonna keep it real. I have 4 people in my family that are into this, and 2 of them, they're not consistent. They're not consistent at all. But there's one that is extremely consistent, and she does this monthly or weekly. I'm not sure how much time she pays a person, but I always know when she's doing it again, because God comes through and he shows me she's back at it, right? And it's very hard to go to people and tell people, hey, this person in my family keeps doing this, because you start to feel like no one's gonna believe you. And what makes it so hard is the amount of people that throw false accusations around like water, and the amount of people that accuse people who don't even do it. It kind of makes it hard for those who actually are being attacked and who actually know who's doing it. It's hard for these people to even get their story across or to even say anything, because the amount of people out there that are just throwing lies around. The amount of people out there that don't even do their research and homework before making assumptions. But when you actually know who the person is, and God already showed you the person is, and that very person is going family member to family member, twisting things on purpose just to cover their tracks, it gets frustrating. It gets frustrating because you're like, God, like, what do I do? And he said, just be still. Be still. You know what I mean? And I know it's not only happening to me. I know it's happening to other people. You know what I mean? Because God told me, he's like, you're not the only one that goes through this. And it's not that I found comfort in that, because I don't want to ever see anybody else that has to go. This is the worst thing anyone can go through. I'm being honest. Like, yeah, if you get attacked from a stranger, okay, or attacked from an ex, okay, but for it to be your own blood, and in a direct family member, immediate family member, not like a second or third anyone, it's more like an immediate, that's painful. Because it's like, how do you tell people this? How do you open up to people about this? It's like a hidden, pain that you have to carry, maybe your whole life, if this has happened your whole life, but a pain that you have to carry every day, to know that someone who's supposed to love you is out there paying people to do things to you because they can't control your life, because everything that they said about your life that was going to go bad didn't end up being bad, and they're purposely trying to make it bad. Let me tell you what narcissists do. They will try to control your life and tell you negative and speak very ill upon your life, in hopes that their word curses alone will cause these effects on your life. And when they realize that these word curses are not causing effects on their life, and they see God's hand on your life, and they see that everything they said about you, people ain't seeing it, or they see that every failure they wished upon you ain't working, ain't happening, they have to go out of their way to force failure on you, because you're too strong, you're too confident, you have too much faith, you know what I'm saying, you're a soldier, you're keep going. They have to try to force the failure on you by doing witchcraft on you, by paying people. And so when the failure happens, they can sit there and say, see, I told you, when they're the ones trying to manipulate it and trying to cause it to happen. Narcissists do that. If their words can't affect you, or if they can't figure out a way to prove their point to people, they will go behind the scenes and they will force it on you just to prove a point for themselves, just to prove what they're saying is true. And that's messed up. That's messed up. It's like, let me give you an example so you understand what I'm saying. It's like, because narcissists don't ever want to see you loving anybody. They don't ever want to see anyone loving you. They want to see you miserable. They want to see you lonely, especially when it's someone that has been either competing with you their whole life, or someone that is threatened by your success. And that's why I said mainly you'll see this in immediate families, because you're breaking a generational cycle when they don't have a part of, because of how they treated you in the family like a black sheep, and they treated you like a scapegoat and had people throw all their sins on you, blame you for everything that everybody else did. And they realize your life is still coming out okay, but because of the past trauma and pain that they put you through, they know you won't associate yourself with them. So because you're not associating yourself with them, they can't reap off your blessings. And because they can't reap off your blessings, they don't want you to have anything, because they can't reap off it. If I can't have some of your blessings, you ain't gonna have it. That's their mentality. That's their mentality. If I can't speak these failures upon your life, I'm going to force these failures upon your life. I'm going to do things behind the scenes to manipulate things in your life so you can fail, so I can prove my point to everybody that I spoke ill about you to. That's how they do it. And it's so sad. It is so sad. And, I just want to tell you guys, like, for those going through this, like, God is real. God is real. God is real. I'm gonna tell you what God showed me the other day. He showed me a vision of a big spider, and the spider had this red lightning thing on the butt of it. The big, like, not even a tarantula, but it's the big spiky, shiny looking spiders, the scary ones, the venomous ones. It had like the red mark on its butt. And when I saw the spider, I'm not gonna lie, when I saw it in my vision, because I wasn't asleep when I saw it, my eyes were just closed and I was just laying in the bed, and I had just woken up out of a sleep, but I wasn't fully ready to open my eyes yet, and the Lord came through and showed me that, and I'm like, oh my God, God, I'm like, God, why are you showing me that? And then he showed me RIP about the spider. So he's basically saying RIP, rest in peace, to the attacker, the venomous spider, letting me know that he has a final say-so over the evildoers. They don't have control over his anointed. They think they do, but they don't. They have no control over his anointed. And it's just so sad, because you don't ever want to see anything negative happen to people, but at the same time, it's like a David and Goliath situation. It's kind of like, you know, if David didn't throw the stone at or slingshot the stone at Goliath, the Goliath would have took him out. So God is not going to sit there and let your attacker keep attacking you and think they're going to get away with it. God is smart. He knows how to let people dig their own hole, dig their own pit. And what he does is he lets the attackers dig their own pit, thinking they're getting away with it. He warns them as they're doing this, and they continue to dig and dig and dig and dig and dig, and then boom. You see what I'm saying? And this is why people have to be careful with revenge, retaliation, and not to let your emotions make you do some evil stuff. Because if you let your emotions get you to where you become evil, you're going to affect your own life. You don't know who you're laying hands on or who you're putting your mouth on. You don't know their ranking in the kingdom. You don't know who they are to God. You got to be careful how you talk to people. And you can't just, slander, and you can't just put things on people and all of that stuff because you feel like it, because you're jealous, or because you're envious, or because you want to be revengeful. You can't just do that. It's not worth your life. It's not worth your life. Because you can put that same energy that you have towards trying to bring someone down, you could put that same energy in yourself and motivate yourself and uplift yourself. All that money people be paying to witch doctors and psychics to get readings on us to see if we're going to elevate, to try to block us and stop our growth and all this type of stuff. They could be putting all these funds into extracurricular activities to help uplift themselves, into knowledge and education to level themselves up, to elevate themselves. Right? And like I said, the most frustrating thing is when you have to sit and know the truth about things, and you have to kind of sit and be still, and it feels like these people are getting away, but they're not. But it's frustrating because it's kind of like, how do you explain this to people? How do you go to people and explain this to people? And it's like people behind the scenes are putting their hands at you, looking at you like you're the bad guy, when you're the one that's fighting all this. That's the most frustrating thing that anyone can go through. And this is why the message I put out the other day where God said, I am your family, this is why he said that. Because some of us, we really don't have any family, if you really look at it. Not everybody. I'm speaking for some, those who are going through this. We really don't. We may have a one or two person that we're close with. I know I have two people that I'm close with my family, and that's it. But they have the same kind of treatments too. Not exact same, but you know what I mean? Like they have that same kind of like outcast treatment. So it's kind of like that's where we kind of understand each other. But when you have to deal with witchcraft, and you can see the hidden things behind the scenes, you can see what's been going on in your family, you can see why everybody has been failing, you can see who's the person that's starting all the gossip, you can see who the culprit is, who the cobra is in the family, and no one else would ever believe you because the cobra has planted seeds about you for years to make it seem like you're the problem. So anytime you try to speak up, no one believes you. That's what could be frustrating. But this is why God isolates you and pulls you away from your family when you're going through this, because listen to this. When you are accused of being the problem and you pull yourself away from what's going on, and you're not there and the problem is still occurring, people will eventually see that it's not you. And this is why God pulls you away. This is why God tells you not to associate with anyone in your family who's associating with the problem. Because if you pull away from the situation and the problem is still occurring, but you're in communication with people who are associating themselves with the person, things can be easily twisted. You can still be blamed for things because you're still in connection. You see what I'm saying? Where if you don't have any contact with anyone at all, or anyone associated with them, they can't twist things on you. You're not even available. Nobody has your number. Nobody has contact to you. So how could you have said this and said that, or done this or done that, if you're not even in contact with anybody like that? I've witnessed literally the very people or the very person that attacks me. I've witnessed this person quoting scripture. I've witnessed this person quoting scripture. And the very person that attacked me, I've witnessed this person try to throw me in a hospital right after telling me that they know a person in Jamaica who can break curses, etc. Admitting it and then telling a nurse at a hospital that this stuff is not real. Contradicting themselves literally the same week. I've witnessed this specific person that attacked me bring me to a pastor that said the pastor can heal me, and touching me inappropriately. You have to look at patterns. You have to look at patterns when it comes to people. And you have to stop making excuses for people. Because when God shows you something, after you've confirmed it, and you know it's God, you have to believe it. And I don't even know if narcissism is mainly just mental. I feel like narcissism is demonic. I'm going to be honest with you, because people that have this personality disorder, I noticed that they're into some really dark stuff. Let me tell you guys a dream I had the other day. So I had a dream that I was in Jamaica, and I was with my son, my oldest son. My oldest son has a disability. He has autism, right? And this is where God was revealing something to me about my family. So me and my son, we were picking flowers, right? And we're going like house to house picking flowers. And there was this house, and I looked at the back of the house and I saw this goat that was hanged up upside down in the backyard. When I saw it, I knew right away. I'm like, no, we can't go here, babe. We can't go here. And I was taking my son's hand. I'm like, we got to go somewhere else. And he didn't want to listen to me. He wanted them yellow flowers because she had yellow flowers in her backyard. So he ran towards the yellow flowers. But him running towards the yellow flowers is almost like he was running towards the goat as well, because the goat was behind the yellow flowers. And so I ran to grab him. So as I grabbed this, I grabbed his hand, right? He reached enough to grab the flowers, but he couldn't get further than the flowers. So once he grabbed the flowers, he finally ran back. But I couldn't help but notice that when I got closer to the flowers to grab him, I was actually looking at the goat that was hanging up upside down, and the goat actually said, "Kill Stephanie." So someone used the knife and carved "Kill Stephanie" on the goat's belly. Okay, and when I woke up from that was God giving me more. I already have all the revelations, but that was him giving me more revelations that there was an upcoming ritual that was going to happen, or that someone is still doing it. But I already know who the person is. But it's just frustrating because it's like, God, when is this going to stop? You get what I'm saying? But then he confirmed a lot to me last night about the cobra and the snake. The snake and the spider situation. And he confirmed to me and let me know that it will eventually stop, but we can't do anything really about it. And the very people that sit there and accuse us and look at us like we're crazy and we're lying, God is going to shut them up and put them to shame. Because this has been happening for me for years, and I'm not sure how long it's been happening to some of y'all, but I know some of y'all can relate. But God will put them to shame. God will put them to shame. You see, when people can't control your life, or they can't control you or your destiny, and they try to block you, when people try to do that, what they don't understand is they're coming up against God, because anything that you're doing in your walk of life and God is establishing you and He's establishing your footsteps, it's because it's according to His will. Not your will, but His will. And when people come up against you, they're coming up against God's will for your life. So they're coming up against God and they don't even realize that. So if anyone's going through this right now, and I know it's hard because this is something I battle with every single day, because every day I wake up, I ask God, why do I have to go through this? You see what I'm saying? But anyone that's going through this, just keep pushing and keep fighting. Keep going. These people will never get away with it. Trust me. They will never get away with it. God is my witness. They won't get away with it, because He showed me some stuff. And you have to remember something. It is a part of your testimony. It is. And those who don't believe you, God will put them to shame. Those who are quick to listen to lies, God will put them to shame. This is why you don't play around and just for the fun, for the sake of it, just for fun, slander someone and lie on someone and say someone's doing something they don't do, because there's people actually out there going through this stuff. And it's making it harder for people to actually understand their stories because of all the lies that are put out there. People like to throw around, this person's doing witchcraft, this person's doing witchcraft. They like to just throw that around, not without even doing their research. And then when it comes back, they're not actually doing it, right? They don't believe the people who are actually going through it, and don't believe that there's people actually doing it. And some of the people think this stuff is fake, and it's not fake. It isn't. People don't understand, like, that's the worst type of narcissism to fight, is a person that is into witchcraft who has this mental disorder. And they're very smart with hiding it, and they're very smart with manipulating. That's the worst thing to have to fight, because it feels like, oftentimes it does feel like you're alone. But then you realize that you're really not, because God is with you. God can see everything that's unfolding, that's being done behind the scenes. It says God has eyes everywhere. He can see the plans of the wicked. And not only that, but God will reveal to people who have gifts. He will reveal to them what's really happening. The best thing to do is continue to be still and just fight. Continue fighting. Continue pushing forward. No matter how much they do it, just continue going. I'm letting you know, because I've been fighting for years and I'm still going. And none of what they've done has blocked me. If anything, it has motivated me even more. And not only that, but it has given me more things to talk about testimonial wise. Do you see what I'm saying? And that's why I said God is using this as a part of your purpose, whether you believe it or not. You just have to keep fighting, and you just can't give up. Take breaks if you have to take breaks. Fast if you have to fast. But no matter what, push through. If you weren't great and you weren't special, people would not be doing this stuff to you. Your family would not be doing this to you. You know what I mean? So that's why you have to keep pushing. The more and more they do this stuff to me, I notice that there's something great in my life that God is working on. Because I'm like, who wastes their time and money doing this monthly or every 2 months or every week, however amount of time. But who wastes their time and money doing this? Who spends thousands of dollars doing this? Unless there's really something that they can see that you may not even be aware of. That's why I tell you guys all the time, when people do this to you, there's something behind it. There's a motive behind it. And it may be something that you don't even see. You know? And how do you know if it's someone doing it and it's not the devil manipulating you? Because you're going to take your time to receive confirmation on things like this. You're not just going to run out there and say someone did something. You're going to take your time. I told you guys many times, it took me years to finally come to the understanding, to finally accept the fact that it was a particular person that was consistent with it. It took me years, and I had to go way back in memory to childhood things that happened to my childhood, to the words that were spoken on my life, to the disgusting things I remember seeing as a child. I had to go back years. And when I started going back years and reflecting, I started connecting the pieces. And when I connected the pieces, I'm like, God, is this true or is this not true? And then he came through with the dreams, and he came through with the revelations. And he came through numerous times, not one or twice, numerous times during my fasts, and confirmed it to me. Not only that, but then I also had a person that was involved come in the comment section mocking me. And this person was in Jamaica, confirming again. On top of that, out of the attacker's mouth, some words came out confirming they're into this stuff, and then they took the words back later to try to cover it up. You get what I'm saying? So you have to be smart, and you kind of have to do your research. You can't just jump and say someone's doing something if you don't know. But those who actually know and who are experiencing this, believe me, God got you. God has you. God has you. Trust me, he has you covered, whether you believe it or not. And trust me, there's going to be a happy ending. No matter how much people they try to block out your life, good always wins. You gotta be strategic when you're doing your research. I will say this, you'll know who's involved based on, because most of the time whoever's involved, they would click up at one point if they're in your family. You'll notice it's the same group of people that has always been tearing you down your whole life, putting you down your whole life, speaking curses on your life your whole life. You'll notice it was the same group of people. They're the ones that are usually spreading rumors in the family, gossiping in the family. They're the ones who's usually lying on you, and you catch them all the time, and they usually click up. But there'll be that one or two who are consistent with it because they don't want to see you win. And they will do anything to try not to see you win. And they're very secretive with it. That's the most dangerous type of narcissist, is someone who is so secretive with what they do that even they believe their own lies. That's a dangerous narcissist. And they're very convincing. Very convincing. The best and best thing to always do is to keep your distance from anyone that does this to you, that is associated. Also, that's associated with anyone that's associated with the person doing this to you. You have to cut ties. You have to not associate yourself with people who are connected. And whether people believe it or not, trust me, the truth always comes out. It may take years, it may take months, but the truth always comes out. The truth always comes out. A lot of times when you are exposing what's going on, the very people who are doing it will try to say you're the one doing it. They will twist it. I've had people in my family go around saying that I'm actually doing it, when it's the person that was actually doing it that's spreading this rumor, because they try to take the heat off them. They take the heat off themselves, and that's the worst thing that anyone can go through, especially when they're doing this and you can see what they're doing. It's the worst feeling ever to have to live with that. It's not easy. So for those asking why I have so much knowledge about witchcraft and what goes on, because it's been done to me my whole life. Not only has it been done to me my whole life, but I can see it. I can hear things, okay? And it's been revealed to me, and I'm very observant. Like, I can literally look at things and I won't say nothing right away. I'm the kind of person, I observe. I will watch patterns for a very long time, and I will calculate everything and see what's going on, and I will look at the bigger picture after observing everything. That's how I am. Right? Anyways, so anyone going through this, I just want to say you're not alone. I know it's frustrating, but just push through. Keep your distance and just keep fighting. Keep fighting. And don't care if people believe you or not. The truth is going to eventually come out. God has you. God has your back, okay? Love you guys. Bye.